Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rico Borrego.
I am your other co-host, Tony Borrego.
And this is the podcast known as Relatively Sound, where a survey says it's time for a game episode. Tony and I thought, we wanted to spice up the podcast a little bit. So we created a little game that we can play on here that we hope everyone finds just as enjoyable, as fun as we did making it. We're going to call it Rank Them. And it's a pretty simple game. What we did is Tony and I picked 3 different albums that we both love and enjoy equally. We both know every song from each album. And we sat down and we ranked individually each album from our favorite song to our least favorite song. And now what we're going to do on air in real time, making this episode, we are going to try to guess what the other person's list is from favorite to least favorite. And every time a person guesses the correct order of a song, they get a point. And if they happen to swap 2 songs, they'll get half a point because they were, pretty close. So, and that's pretty much the rules. Whoever has the most points by the end of each round, each album, is the winner of the whole game. So we'll go ahead and let you know what albums we did. We picked Pearl Jam's Versus. We picked Ben Folds 5, Whatever, Never, Amen. And we picked Queens of the Stone Age, Like Clockwork. 3 random albums. Really didn't put too much thought behind which ones. Just 3 albums that we both knew we liked. We knew every song. So, yeah. And the lists have already been made. We made the list ahead of time. We made our own list ahead of time and the other person's list ahead of time. And they are locked in. No more changes to them. They're all set. So, Tony, would you like to guess first, or do you want me to guess first?
Why don't you go ahead and guess first? Which album are we starting with?
Let's go Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam's Versus, their second studio album. And for this one, I know you're number 1 for sure.
Do you?
But I think I do, but I do not. And other than that, I don't know. It was kind of a shot in the dark for some of these. I think I'll get a couple swaps. I think I'll get at least a couple half points. But yeah, so let's begin. I think your number 1 song from this album is Go.
Ding, ding. That is 1 point for you.
Okay, so let me tally it up here. 1 point. So that was the easy one. That was the one that I was super confident. The rest, I don't know. I'm already afraid that my second guess here is going to be wrong. I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say your second favorite is Animal.
No.
Oh, what is it?
This might shock you, but this is with maturity here. Small Town.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's definitely not going to be a swap for me. You're not going to hear me say that song for a little while. Okay, then. Well, then, for number 3, going with that maturity thought, I thought your third favorite would be Indifference.
No.
It's not beginning good for me. What was your number 3?
Number 3 was Glorified G.
I don't have that one that much lower, but
Love that one. Okay, now I'm curious how you're gonna rank the rest of these songs based off this approach.
well, I still have some chance here to get some more points. For number 4, I thought your fourth favorite was Daughter.
No, it was Rearview Mirror.
Ooh, yeah, my list
for me to pronounce.
My list is not looking good. Okay. So then 5, I could still get this point. 5, I had Blood for your 5th favorite.
That won't be there for a little bit now.
What was your 5th?
Leash.
Leash. Okay. Nope. 6, I had Glorified G, which I already know is wrong.
No, it is Dissident.
Ouch. Okay. 7th, I had Leash.
That would be Daughter, the other D song.
Oh, I actually do not. I think there's only 2 points here possible I can get. Okay, so 8th favorite, I said Rats for you.
Indifference makes the comeback good.
9, Review Mirror, which I already know is wrong.
The Animal, which you placed at number 2, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that one for you. I had no idea if you were tired of hearing Animal or if that was one you really liked.
Right.
Okay. 10, I had Dissident.
which would be My Rats.
Okay. 11, I had Small Town.
That's actually where I placed Blood, which I shocked myself on that.
Yeah, I thought I had that like in your top five. Okay. Then I got, I think if
Yeah.
I got 2 points because another point, I guessed WMA is your least favorite.
Yes, sirree. That 6 minute one part song.
Okay. Well, is this 6 minutes really?
It's like five something. So it's like at least 5.5.
Okay, well, I got two
Crazy.
points. No half points because I didn't even. That's how far off my list was. So, just so I can hear your list again. Say them in order for your favorite to least favorite.
And you got bookends right on that one.
Well, like I said,
So
that was one of the albums where I'm like, I think I know his favorite, and I'm pretty sure I can guess his least favorite. It was just the middle. I had no idea, and I was not even close.
I don't think I'm gonna do much better, to be honest. But so
But
my list then,
yeah,
for your sake.
well, no, no, say your list really quick. Just like run it all the way through because I just want to hear it again.
Okay, so Go, Small Town, Glorified G, Rearview Mirror, Leash, Dissident, Daughter, Indifference, Animal, Rats, Blood, WMA. And I was a little nervous about putting this list together, but now that I'm like reading it, especially after guessed them, I do feel kind of confident with what I did. I feel like that was pretty accurate for how I
I
am
guess
right now.
the thing that shocked me the most is you had Small Town as your second because
Yeah.
that's like for hardcore Pearl Jam fans, the ones who listen to all the bootlegs, that's a song they're tired of hearing because it's played like nearly every show. And even though it wasn't really a single, it's like definitely a fan favorite. But it's like it's not quite ballad, but it's definitely like the first time on a Pearl Jam album where it's like Ed wrote, a guitar part, and he pretty much plays the main part of the song. It's definitely almost going to be considered like a solo song. So I'm kind of shocked you had it as your second favorite.
Well, for this game, I went ahead and I thought it was fair to give each album just one listen just to refresh myself. And when I was kind of like just piecing them together, I looked at the lyrics real quick of Small Town and I was just like, wow, I forgot how great these are. And then like for Animal, for example, like, once I saw Small Town, I was like, well, what are like some of the other lyrics, aspects of songs? And, I think at this point in time, I focus on lyrics a lot more. I would say part of that is thanks to your influence. Um, so yeah, I shocked myself a little bit on some of these too.
Is
Not
that why
gonna
you had
lie.
Rearview Mirror so high too? Because I kind of just thought
Yes.
I didn't remember your thoughts on that song, but I kind of was like, if I remember correctly, it's not a song that ever stood out to him, and he might find that riff a little repetitive. And I was like, if he doesn't really look into the lyrics too much, it might just be too straightforward of a song. This is another song where Ed wrote the guitar part.
Well, okay. I remember when you learned that riff and stuff. That actually is a pretty cool riff. And yeah, the lyrics definitely have more depth than some of the other songs. But it also has one of my favorite moments on the whole album at the end when he yells rear view mirror and then like Mike goes in with that solo. Like that's so epic. Like
Yeah,
that
that's a great
build.
moment. And then I should have had Glorified G higher. I don't know why I had it. I should have at least swapped it with Daughter because I remember the other day you
Mhm.
mentioned Daughter, like you're like, oh, it goes harder than I remember. So I thought, oh, maybe he likes it more than he remembered. And then I knew you always liked Glorified G, but I just didn't know you had it that high. Like I would have, I was like, I should have had a top five, but I'm shocked that it was like third.
Yeah, I was thinking about like maybe it's a little high for me, but then I listened to it and I was like, even the outro solo is killer. Where did you put Daughter again for me?
I had it as your fourth favorite.
Fourth, okay. I had it at 7, but
Yeah.
not that far off.
And I should have again, I had Indifference higher because I thought, well, if you did listen to this album recently, maybe like the lyrics Indifference caught you, but I'm assuming that was still just too much of like a slower song with not a lot going on for you.
Yeah, it's like I like the lead guitars and I do like the lyrics, but I just think it doesn't hit me in I don't know. I think I would have to listen to it a few more times to really like kind of immerse myself and get into it again. I will point out though real quick that upon listening to the album, and I don't know if it was just the mood I was in, but when I heard Blood, I thought it was kind of annoying at some parts.
Yeah, Blood is like I
Stick
have to
riff
be in the
though.
mood for Blood.
Right.
Okay, well, I only got 2 points, so you don't have a, you got a fair shot so far. So I guess it's your turn.
All right. Well, I think I know the number one. I think Small Town.
No.
What?
I don't know
No.
where you got this idea that Small Town was like a number one. No, my number one, Go.
Oh, I didn't think you
So
rocked out that hard.
we should give the viewers a little quick history. We actually made a pilot episode that we have not yet released because we had some technical difficulties with the recording. But we did our first episode was supposed to be us ranking individually our favorite Pearl Jam openers. And funny enough, we both agreed that Go was our favorite album opener from any Pearl Jam album. So I thought maybe you would get that right because, I guess you didn't know how much I like Go compared to like the other songs, but no, Go is a top 10 Pearl Jam song for me. It is fantastic.
Okay. It's like I know you love that one, but at the same time, I can't think of how many albums that I know you like where the heaviest song is your favorite song.
Yeah, that is a little rare. I mean, even if like for like a Pearl Jam album, like I guess I won't give it away for if we do other game shows with Pearl Jam albums. But yeah, typically my favorite Pearl Jam songs on a Pearl Jam album are kind of the more like artistic ones, kind of maybe more introspective, like maybe more experimental. So yeah, it is a little rare for like my favorite to be like the heaviest.
All right. Well, now all confidence for my guess here is, lost, but let's go through it. Number two, I put Rear View Mirror for you.
Oh, you got a point. You got
Oh,
one.
yay. Okay, sick.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, that was number two. So, okay, maybe you do have a chance.
I feel like I swapped these next two, but for number three, I took a gamble. I said Daughter.
Oh, you got it. Dang, you're already tied with
Oh,
me.
right. Can we go three in a row here? Get a turkey. Four, Indifference.
Nope.
Mm.
Four, this might surprise you. Four is Animal.
Oh, okay. I'm a little surprised, but that is definitely like what I would call a solid song.
It's one where it's like I can hear it a little if I'm listening to a lot of bootlegs. They do play like at a majority of shows, I would say, especially more back in the day. But it's one where like if I actually sit down and give it a real good listen, it's like, yeah, this is just a great rock song. Like it's just kind of it's kind of the more the style when they do rock that I prefer over like 10, which is more like the grunge quote unquote grunge sound. I kind of prefer this more kind of raw, you know, I don't know, like kind of more like not as hard rock, I guess, as grunge. I don't know how you describe it, but
Right, like not punk, but not grunge, kind of, in between. Um, so okay, so then for five is where I put Go.
and you know what? So five, I put Small Town. And I know we said we'd give a half point if you swapped them, but in my mind, it was only going to be a half point if you swapped them that they were the two numbers, one right after the other.
Right, you got it off by one.
Yeah, because this one you like if you would have just swapped them right now, you'd have like what 4 points.
I would have all 5 points. Or no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. No, I take
No,
it back.
no,
I take
no,
it back.
'cause you got
I messed
wrong.
up in difference. Okay.
But you don't get the half point for that. It has to be like close. That was, but no.
Hey, I'm still tied with
yeah,
you.
five for me was Small Town. It's
Yeah.
it's one that maybe when I first heard this album, it would probably be in my top three. And like you said, if you sit down and listen to the lyrics, it is a great like storytelling song.
Best lyrics on
But
the album.
up there for sure. I think I maybe like Review Mirror better lyrically and maybe Indifference, but it's up there. But yeah, just musically, it's like I feel like it's a song where it kind of was a gateway song to more Eddie Vedder solo songs that would end up on later albums where they shouldn't have, like a Sleeping by Myself or you know, Future Days. And even though I like those songs, it's like, those maybe should have been like solo Ed songs. Where at least Small Town sounds like it should be a full band song, but I'm just a little tired of it.
Okay. So for six, that's where I had Animal.
and that's where I have Indifference.
Okay. So again, now we're at like the fresh start.
Yeah, you could technically get the rest of these right.
Right. I guess my confidence definitely is up here. I only got 2 points, but
I
I'm
know
set
you're
up.
not going to get this next one though. So sorry, I'm gonna blow your confidence right back down.
No, I'm gonna commit to this. I think I got it right. Glorified G.
Nah. Number
Hmm.
7 for me, WMA.
What?
Yeah, so
You're ridiculous.
this is a song that's really grown on me over time. And it's not even because like the message of the song is even more relevant today than when it was first written, but I just love the experimental element of it. I love that drum beat goes hard. The bass really fits it. The bass is just like it's like groovy, but like in a different way. And I just love the way the vocals come in. I love the melody. There's multiple times where the melody changes, and it's just always interesting every time I hear it. And it's like the one when every time I hear it now, when I listen to verses, it's the one I'm kind of most excited for. Again, I don't like it more than my other, the other 6 above it, but every time I hear it now, I'm just like pumped for it. I don't know, like it's definitely not better than the other 5 with other 6, which is where it is now, but I believe I like it more than the other ones I have, below it.
I mean, if they made like a radio edit, like a pocket edition of it that was like 2 minutes, it would definitely not be in last place for me.
Oh, and I always thought it was a little underrated because they, I know like in the Yield tour and maybe even before, they would tag it at the end of Daughter because Daughter kind of ends with like a groove, and they kind of took that groove and turned it. He would start singing the lyrics to WMA, and then recently during their last year's tour, when Matt Cameron got COVID, and Richard Stewart came and drummed for them, they did WMA also with Josh Klinghoffer because he was touring with Pearl Jam as like a 7th member, I guess, and they did a really cool version of it. So
I'll have to check that out then.
I think Josh was like on like extra drums, like an extra drum set, doing that like really heavy drum beat. It was great.
Okay, well, I'll definitely make sure to check that out. Maybe that will kind of bump that up on my own list. So for number 8, I put Leash.
Number 8's Blood.
Oh, you have Blood that high?
Yeah, because when I'm in the mood, Blood is great.
That
like
is
the
true.
studio version. I think there's some live versions that are great, and then there's some where it's just Ed's voice is just not ready for it. But it's like it's a heavy one, but it's like a fun heavy one where Go and Review Mirror is like heavy and serious, where Blood's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem as serious to me. Like there's the bridge where he's like paint Ed big, turn him into one of my enemies. Like, I don't know, it's a fun one, but I like it.
Okay. Well, now my list is kind of screwed, I feel like. So for 9, I had Dissident.
9, I had Leash, so you were close with Leash.
Okay. 10, I had Rets.
For 10, I had Glorified G.
You just not like that song?
Glorified G? No. I mean, I will say, like, I like the idea of it. I like the lyrics a lot for the most part. Like, there's the infamous story of, Dave A, their drummer at the time, buying a gun, and the band kind of like little backlash. And I like some of the lyrics. I like the little ad lib where he's like getting ready to be an American.
Yeah.
And I forget, he used to have like a funny improv line where he would change that in a live show. Oh no, the other line he would change in a live show, "It's okay, man, because I love God."
Mm-hmm.
He would say, "It's okay because I'm an American," which is like making it even more political of a song than it is, which I liked.
Right.
Just musically though, I don't love the music up because it's like a serious topic, and I kind of like that it's like it's kind of tongue in cheek a little bit, and I guess a little bit satire, but like I don't know, I feel like the music at parts is just, I don't know, it's like a little too much of a Stone riff. Like I just wish it rocked out a little harder. I mean, like the outro isn't my favorite. Like I don't mind Stone's backing vocals, but I don't know. Like, there's something about it where after I hear like a minute of the song, I'm kind of like, I'm okay. Like, I don't need. I'm fine.
Well, then I'm curious. Then I don't know what your last two would end up being because I ended up putting WMA for 11,
I had Rats.
and then number 12 I had Blood.
I had Dissident.
That's really your least favorite?
It's kind of always been. Yeah. I mean, even before I really got into WMA, I think I always liked that better than Dissident. Dissident is just it's kind of a boring song. Like the one thing I like about it is I like hearing that riff, the opening riff once, and then I kind of like to transition to the verse. And then I do it's another storytelling song where I think the lyrics are pretty good. But then I don't know, it's kind of Glorified G where it's like the chorus, I don't love the chorus. And like the guitars get almost a little too twangy for me. And
Ed's vocals are great though.
they're great. And maybe that's another reason I like it too, because every live version is not amazing. And I know since like maybe even after the Versus tour, anytime they played it, he would not try to hit that last note in the chorus, the one where he like goes probably up an octave. He would just dodge it completely, which I understand. I'd rather him dodge it than,
miss the landing.
Yeah, but yeah, just never song that excited me. I was just like, yeah, always my least favorite. Kind of surprised it was a single, even though I know it didn't like do amazing. Not definitely not as well as Daughter or Animal. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's okay.
That's kind of interesting.
I do like Rats a little bit better than it, just because the Rats, the bass line is phenomenal, but then the rest of the song is just kind of okay.
It's got a good chorus though. It just gets a little unfocused near like probably like the bridge near.
See, the chorus is what I don't love about it, I think. Because I like the outro on that one actually. I just don't love the chorus, I guess, in Rats. But
it's got a good solo too. That's something for it.
It's an interesting solo. So I believe you only ended up with 2 if I did the.
So we tied.
Because you got, let's see, you got Rearview Mirror and you got Darter. And then it was looking like it was going to be good. Like after you completely missed the first one, it looked like it was going to be good. And then
I had Small Town and Ghost Switch. So like the last, 5 or so songs I could have nailed, but
yeah, I don't think you did. So, we're tied 2 for, 2-2.
All right. Well, that got me a little worried here for these next games.
Let's see here. We're going to continue on with, let's do Ben Folds 5, Whatever and Ever, Amen. Also their second studio album. Also a 90s album. You guess for this one first.
I'm going to be completely honest right now. I messed up. I forgot to write the list for yours.
You did not write the list for mine.
I'm sorry. I really thought I had done that.
You make one really quick?
Yes.
While I fill some time while Tony makes his list.
Maybe you could sneak peek the next ep.
Yeah, I can sneak peek the next ep. So the next 2 episodes are going to be our album for album episodes. We have already given each other our albums. So I have given Tony Radiohead's In Rainbows. And I'll just spoil here, and I've already told him my favorite Radiohead album. So no pressure. And Tony has given me The Doors, Morrison Hotel. So kind of completely two different types of bands. Definitely, spanning decades apart. So I think it'll be an interesting episode. I've already given my album 1 listen. So I think it'll be a good episode. And real quick, I guess I should explain the only thought process that went behind picking these albums, where we kind of picked albums, at least for me. I picked these albums at random, but then we kind of discovered that these albums were kind of entry points for me getting into these bands. Pearl Jam, of course, growing up in Washington, you heard their music all the time on the radio. But Versus was the album I remember our parents playing the CD in our car. So that was like I like knew all those songs before I knew pretty much even all of 10, I would say. The Ben Folds 5, I got into them when they released their kind of comeback album, their reunion album. And after hearing that album and being intrigued, I went and picked this album, Whatever Never Amen, which is kind of considered their biggest, probably their most popular album, a lot of people's favorites. And I got Tony onto them as well. I think mostly through that album. And then for me, at least, Queens of the Stone Age, again, another band where I'd always heard of them, but didn't know their music besides their singles like Little Sister and I'm escaping. What's the one from Songs?
Go with the flow.
Go with the Flow, but the other one, the bigger one.
Oh, no one knows.
No one knows. Yeah, thank you. I didn't know their full albums, and I remember when Like Clockwork came out, it was getting a lot of my friends I remember really liked it, and I think someone gave me a download of it because I was like, I'm curious, I want to try it, and I was actually like really pleasantly surprised. Like I like really 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 enjoyed it, and a little disappointed when I went back to their older albums because I do think there's a maturity to Like Clockwork that their older albums lack a little bit. But and then their next album After Villains kind of also lacked, and when it did try to be serious, I think it was a little corny. But Like Clockwork, again, for sure my favorite Queens of the Stone Age album. So yeah, so these, at least for me, the albums we picked today are kind of like the entry points to these bands. But down the road, we'll probably pick different albums with themes. We'll probably pick some more popular albums, maybe like a Beatles album, a Beach Boys album, things like that. How's the list looking?
Right. I think I got it. I got the general list for it all. I would like to kind of review it for another second, but we can go ahead and make it.
Well,
work.
how about I'll guess yours first.
All right. That sounds good, actually.
And then that'll give you a little time. Okay, so my turn to guess from your favorite to least favorite on Ben Folds 5's Whatever Never Amen. I'm gonna say your favorite is Selfless, Cold, and Composed.
No, my number one. I don't know if this will surprise you or not, but my number one is Kate.
That is surprising. I have that way lower.
No. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes.
Okay, number 2 then. For you, I had Battle of Who Could Care Less.
And that's where I had Selfless, Cold, and Composed.
See, I thought if anything, I would swap those two.
Okay. I know.
Now my guess is your third favorite is Selfless, but that's not what I put. I put for your third favorite, I put Missing the War.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
There
Okay, so at least I got 1 point.
3 songs in, you got a point. That's a good start.
Okay, so then I could get a point too with this one, but I swore you like Selfless way more. For 4, I put for you Evaporated.
No.
What'd you put?
I had put Smoke.
Yeah, I put that lower on your list than I should have.
Smoke was a grower for sure.
But then you mentioned the other day about not liking his vocals on the studio recording.
Yeah, that is true. But like as a song,
reason I put it lower.
I enjoy it. That is fair.
Okay. So, number 5, I put Song for the Dump.
I actually had put Fair. That's also another one that had grown on me.
Okay.
I feel like there's different elements that I'm appreciating from this album that I didn't initially pick up.
Well, for 6, I put One Angry Dwarf.
That's where I put Battle.
Okay, way lower than I thought. 7 is where I put Smoke.
That's where I put Song for the Dump.
All right. 8, I put Cigarette.
That's where I put Steven's Last Night in Town.
Oh man, I think I'm only getting one this round. 9, I put Fair. I know that's wrong.
That's where I put Evaporated.
Okay, way lower. 10 is where I put Kate.
That's where I had Brick.
Oh my god, I don't even get one. I don't
This
get
is
any
a
more
mess,
points because
man.
for 11, I put Steven's Last Night in Town,
That was where I put One Angry Dwarf.
and then 12 is where I put Break.
That's where I put Cigarette.
Okay, so let me give you my thought process really quick.
Okay, give me your thought process, and then I'll explain my thought process.
Because I was like, okay, Selfless. Because where did that one end up?
Number 2 for me.
Oh, that's right.
So
Okay,
you
so
were really close.
I was close with that one, but what I wasn't close with was Battle. I always thought you loved Battle. Battle, who could care less? So that one, I'm shocked that is that low. Evaporated, I should have put lower because I know I always thought you definitely liked that one more than I did when we first got into them. But I
Right.
kind of think over the years, I remember you said something recently about how sometimes the ballads don't work for you when it comes to Ben Folds. So I should have had that one lower. Smoke, I should have had higher. It was my fault. Cigarette, I should have known that you were going to put it last because it's like the shortest song on the album.
It is very pretty, though.
It's kind of like almost like an interlude, and it's kind of a part one to a story that he would finish telling later in another song on one of his solo albums. But I always thought you really, really liked it, kind of like you liked Missing the War. So that's why I had that as high as I did. I should have had it last.
I know I should have been more. I should have followed my gut and maybe put that a little higher. But
and then Fair and Kate, both those songs are songs that I thought you liked a lot when we first got into them, but I thought those would be ones that you would like less as time went on. But they're kind of the opposite. You liked them even more than when time went on. And then Brick, I always thought you didn't really care for Brick because it's kind of slow and sad. So yeah, I mean, I was really off. I only got one.
I will say this list was hard to compose because I feel like with Ben Folds 5, a lot of their songs like are supposed to be very energetic and, you know, comedic. And I think sometimes that balance, like it's kind of one of those cases of you got to be in the mood. The reason I picked Kate is I think that's one that consistently is like a win for me. Like I don't necessarily have to be in the mood for it. It's
Even
just really
even though it's pretty upbeat and poppy.
right, but it's infectious. You know, you have to like it. I definitely would say that I feel bad putting One Angry Dwarf at number 11, especially because it's got a terrific piano solo. But I don't know, like that one just got a little old, a little comedic, a little too far. The whole kiss my ass goodbye at the end is a bit much.
Yeah, I understand that.
I looking back, I do kind of regret putting Battle and Song for the Dump kind of lower, but those are also kind of novelty songs and whatnot. But I don't know. I had a hard time putting this list together. Do you think did you have a hard time, you know, ranking it for yourself?
Not really. This one I think was easier than like Clockwork. And I think it was easier than Pearl Jam, because Pearl Jam, the ones near the bottom, I had a hard time. Where this one, the ones near my bottom were kind of easy for Lee. Like the last 3 were kind of easy for me to rank.
Okay, that's fair.
So you got my list already?
I do. Right. A little nervous, but I only have to beat 1 point. So I said number 1 for you would be Battle Who Could Care Less.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, we're tied again.
Okay, sweet. All right. Number 2, a song that I believe kind of got you into the band a little bit. Song for the Dump.
Nope.
What
Actually, so you were right that my number 2 song is one of the songs that kind of got me into the band, but not a Song for the Dumb. It was a Brick.
Okay. That is a very pretty song. I did actually really appreciate listening to it the other day. So
that song, really quick, that song is like, yeah, it's a very serious topic, and it is considered like their biggest hit. Like it's the only song from them that you'll actually hear on the radio these days.
I've never heard it on the radio personally.
Well, if you listen to like the premium channels, they play it like on their the one that plays only songs from the 90s, Lithium.
Oh, okay.
They'll
Gotcha.
play, but I remember when I first got into the band and I kind of heard their funnier songs and I was like, okay, this is kind of a little bit of like a novelty band like the Bare Naked Ladies or, but then when I heard Brick, I was like, oh no, like they can do really serious stuff, really pretty stuff. Like, and even though it's not, I do think the chorus is the part that kind of gets like repetitive after multiple listens. The verses and the bridge on that song musically, but especially lyrically, really draw me in. So
What are you talking about? The chorus is great. I think the verse is the part that's kind of slacking a little bit, as not lyric wise, but I guess kind of maybe musically.
no, I don't know. That's the piano line. The main hook of it to me is the verse. The chorus is pretty, and I do like the what does Robert play? Like is it a cello or does he just play stand up bass?
I think it's just
Like,
the upright, yeah.
yeah, but and I know their drummer, Darren. He's the one that actually wrote the hook of the chorus of Brick. He wrote the lyrics.
That's
But
right.
it's not the lyrics I have an issue. It's just I don't know. It's just, maybe it's the falsetto too. His vocals, like I just prefer the vocals. I really love how low his vocals get in the verse of Brick. Like when I sing along, I'm like, oh, there's some notes that are like I can't really hit.
Well, yeah, which he doesn't typically sing low, so it is a nice change of pace.
So okay, well you still got your 1 point, maybe your only point. Number
All
3.
right. 3, One Angry Dwarf.
Nope. I put, and this is gonna probably surprise you, but I think I told you this song's been growing on me over the last year. I put Evaporated.
Oh, so it's grown that much. I almost did put it like top 3. Wow. Okay. So the number 4 is where I had Brick, so I wasn't too far off.
No, but I know this one you're not gonna have it as high. For 4, I put Selfless, Cold, and Composed. Another song that's grown on me.
See, I thought you would think it's kind of boring. It is a long song.
I used to, and yeah, and I do think like you said, it's a little long. I do think it could probably cut one verse or chorus, but that's not one I always like. Evaporated is one I'll like actually like go and listen to outside of the album. Like I'll be in a mood where I'm just like I'm in the mood to listen to Evaporated. I'm never really in the mood to listen to Selfless, Cold, and Composed, but whenever I listen to the album, like the strings on that and like the kind of jazzy music and the lyrics, like the line about he's a bank teller telling you to have a nice day. Like that's a great line. Like it's good. It's definitely grown on me. And I probably should have had it a little lower in hindsight just because I don't go out of my way to listen to it. But I do think I definitely underrated the song.
Yeah, slept on. So I'm sorry. So we're at number 5, right?
Yes.
That's where I placed Kate.
Oh, okay. You've officially taken the lead. 2 points for
All
this
right, let's
round
see if
so
I can
far.
get any more.
Got Kate.
6, I had placed Evaporated.
Nope. It was Fair.
See, I wasn't sure if that was a song where you would be like, or that's like the middle of the album right there. So, I guess I wasn't sure if you'd rank it high or low. So I guess you really did put it.
That
in
was the
middle.
hardest one to rank, actually, which is maybe why I have it kind of in the middle because
it's long.
It's long. It should be shorter. The kind of the little annoying like that it gets a little annoying. But I do like the main melodies. I do like the lyrics.
Lyrics are great.
It's interesting. And I don't listen to it a lot, but whenever I do listen to it, I'm like, oh, I maybe should listen to it more. So, but we're like with Kate's, I've always really liked Kate. Like, I don't like it as much as you, obviously, but Kate is like, it's great. It's got a cool time signature, a really weird bridge that like somehow works, and that one has funny lyrics, but like not like they're funny, but in like a kind of a sweet way. So,
and they're not really distracting.
Yeah, true.
So let's see. So number 7, I think I might have a chance getting this one right. Smoke.
Well, nope, because number 7 was One Angry Dwarf.
Okay.
That one's kind of like with you. I liked it more when I first heard it. It's a little bit more of a novelty song for me. But I do think music, if you like take away the lyrics, musically it's fantastic. And like it gets faster at the end. Like it's great, but it's just like yeah, it's like when I start the album, I'm kind of glad it's first because to me, there's just better songs to come after.
Yeah, that is true. And between you and me, I almost kind of prefer Jackson Cannery over it.
Oh, I actually much prefer Jackson Cannery.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
But I definitely like Hungry Dwarf more than like Erase Me, which is the opener off of their most recent album.
If you say so. Um, so okay, so 8 and 9 I'm not gonna get because I put Fair.
For 8, you put Fair?
Yes.
Yeah,
For
I
8,
put song. Yeah, Song for the Dump for me is 8.
and then 9 was Selfless.
Where I put Smoke.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. Last 3.
You could. I actually can see you making a run right here and getting 3 points, which would probably potentially make you win the whole game. But let's see here. Don't mess it
All
up.
right.
You
So
can still get a half a point though if you swap them. But let's see.
That's true. So for number 10, because you said this song has grown on you, I'm gonna say Missing the War.
No, you were so close. No, Steven's Last Night in Town. It's grown on me, but by one song.
Steven is hilarious, but it's a little annoying. Sometimes.
So then why'd you put 11?
Steven's Last Night in Town.
Okay, so you do get half a point. So you're at 2.5 right now.
But then I get a point for Cigarette for number 12.
So 3.5 for you at the end of that round. I only got 1, so I am 2.5 points from tying you. Yeah, Cigarette. I mean, I can see why you put Missing the War above Steven's Last Night in Town because I did tell you it's grown on me, but it's one where like I appreciate it. It's one of those songs where it's like maybe like a Beach Boys song where it's like when you like listen to the harmonies and what's going on musically, you're like, oh, that is impressive. That is nice.
I think the dynamics are great in it.
But there's nothing in that song that like hooks me. And I'm not talking about like there's nothing that's catchy because I do think there's some catchy quality, to it. But it's just like, I don't know, nothing like excites me. There's nothing that I find like super intriguing besides the harmonies. Some of the chords are nice, but yeah. And then Cigarette to me is just almost like like an interlude transitional song.
Which I love. I think it's
I just think it's
as
okay
good as it could be for what it is.
And I actually want probably my least favorite on his first solo album, Rockin' the Suburbs, is
Fred Jones Part 2.
Yeah, which is the sequel to this song, or actually is it the prequel? No,
it's the Part 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Okay, so it is a sequel. And that one is also not like that. Like I said, that's like my least favorite from that album. And it's not because I don't like the story. I just like the music he picked for both songs. I know Cigarette is pretty, but it's like so quiet. It's like almost hard to hear. And it's a little jarring because the rest of the album is like loud. But yeah, I don't know. Just never resonated with me. So.
Well, all right. Well, why don't you give us the scoreboard one more time?
So right now in total, you have 5.5 points after 2 rounds, and I have 3 points. So I mean, my only hope is that I can like ace your list, and then my only other hope is that you just like bomb my list.
See, this is the one I feel most confident for your list. So I just got lucky with that Ben Folds.
There's 2 less songs. This album's only 10 songs, so I think this is easier to get more half points.
Oh, that is true. I didn't think about that.
So to make this exciting, I'll go last. Because if you go first and if you like dominate, then I have no shot. So let's have you go first. You guess mine.
Okay. So I think for your number 1, I think you really committed. And I think you put the title track, Like Clockwork, as your number 1.
Wrong. I put, this might surprise you. I put I Appear Missing.
Oh, no, you didn't.
That song has grown on me so much. So much. It's like, I guess when I don't know, I just sat down and listened to the lyrics and like kind of like, it's like the heart of the album. I mean, I guess, yeah, the title track is the heart of the album, but it's like the penultimate track. There's something about it that is just like, especially music, because like Clockwork, the title track is beautiful, but it does start off pretty slow with just piano, which is kind of strange for a Queen song. Where I Appear Missing kind of already sounds like a normal Queen song, but the dynamics in that song are just like incredible, like just fantastic, and it's grown on me so much. It's yeah, I love it.
That build to the outro, I love that, like
And
the
the
way that
outro
like
is great.
whammy
The
guitar
bass.
solo.
I will say it is like a newfound love. So maybe it's a little fair to say it's number one. Maybe like in the next year, it'll kind of settle in the number two or three spot. Because my number two is one that I almost wanted to put as number one. So it was close.
Okay, well, let's see if I get your number two. Well, I definitely won't because it's I Appear Missing. But let's see if I get the swapsies.
Um. Well, what did you say was my number one? No, no, you don't get swapsies because my number two is Vampire of Time and Memory.
Okay, this is frustrating. Okay.
I love that. Like, there's one of my favorite moments in the entire album is the second verse when the drums kick in, but even more when he starts singing and the bass kicks in. The way the bass sits in the pocket with the drums and the vocals is just fantastic. It's kind of like McCartney a little bit, but it's like butter. It's love it. Love the lyrics in that song. Love the builds of the guitars. It's dark. I
It's
don't
a
know.
slam dunk of a song.
Yeah, it's pretty much perfect in my eyes. So, and I wanted to put a one, but I feel like I Appear Missing, like, kind of, is more representative of the album.
That's a fair statement. So for number three, I had placed Vampire for you because I knew it had to be top three.
Yeah. Number three, and this song used to be my number one, so I'm kind of surprised you haven't said it yet, which means maybe you weren't listening to me when I was telling you this, like, 8 years
Ouch.
ago. But my third favorite, which used to be my number one, is If I Had a Tail.
Yeah, that makes sense. That song is killer.
That used to be my favorite, and musically, it's maybe my favorite in the sense that like the groove is so infectious. Like I don't know, like every time I hear it, I just can't stop listening to it. It's the bass, the drums, the guitar, like it's very dancing. It's kind of what I think they tried to do with their next album, Villains, and then kind of failed a little bit. But it's just, I don't know. It's the music is perfect. Well, let me bring it down a little bit. Is like I do think lyrically, it's like it has cool imagery with like swatting the flies with his tail. If he had a tail, but that's like the weakest part for sure. And I guess the melodies of that vocals, but like there's just the music. I could listen to that loop of the music for forever.
Well, I'll say this about that song though, not to dwell too far on it, but like I think okay, because I feel like yeah, that song kind of has that dance, kind of like the sexiness that some of their earlier work has at times. And I think his delivery, his vocal sound like, he sounds older, more mature, but I think his delivery is excellent still. And it's one of those performances where it doesn't really matter what he's singing, it's what he's singing. So even lines that, have more meaning, like expensive holes to bury things, like, the way he says it is just gold.
Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to discredit I think if the lyrics, there was a little bit something more to the lyrics and the melodies, it could possibly be my favorite or second favorite.
Yeah. So what I had for number 4 for you was If I Had a Tail.
And that's where I put Keep Your Eyes Peeled.
Oh,
That was
you have it
because
that
that's the
high?
first song on the album. And I remember when I first heard this album, that song hooked me right away. Because that's when you're listening to the first song on an album, especially by a band when you've never heard a full length album, it's very important, right, to get your footing. And they do a fantastic job. I think it's a little underrated, and I love it. I mean, is it a little long? Is there like maybe one too many bridges? Yes, because I think most songs should really only have one bridge.
I
Only
think it's
because
done well on that
I'm
song.
not a huge fan of like progressive rock, but I do love this, like the suspense, like the darkness. It really sets you up for the whole album, like how dark the album's going to be.
It was the
love the
return
rhythm.
to the C standard tuning, just for that extra heaviness.
And it's probably my favorite song of theirs that's in that tuning.
Whoa, okay, that's a bold statement right there. So
Yeah.
okay, so what, we're at number 5?
Yes.
I am confident with this one. My God is the Sun. Give me that point.
Oh no, I sat by the ocean.
Good pick though. Good pick.
But did you do a swaparoo?
Well, my number 6 was I Sat by the Ocean.
Oh, there. Oh wait, no, you didn't do a swaparoo. Never mind.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, no,
Give me a
because what
break,
did you
man.
say? What did you say for 4?
Well, 4 was If I Had a Tail, and then My God is the Sun, and then I Sat by the Ocean.
Oh yeah, no swaparoo for you. I do. Okay, so yeah, I Sat by the Ocean was my 5th favorite. And I do really like it.
So what's your number 6? I gotta know.
My God is the Sun.
Oh, so I do get the swaps.
Well, so wait, okay, I got a little confused. You
Whoa,
swap
stop the clock here.
for number 5. You said My God is the Sun.
Yes, and then 6 was I
6.
Sat by the Ocean.
Okay, yeah, you did get you get a half point.
Yeah, don't cheat me out.
And I could have. I don't think I would swap those because I do think I like the. I do think both are catchy, but I do think I Sat by the Ocean is catchier. I like the lyrics better in it. Because My God is the Sun is kind of more like a song where he's more imagery than I feel like storytelling, where I Sat by the Ocean is more storytelling. And yeah, the music is just like, it's simple, and I Sat by the Ocean is a little almost more poppier, but I kind of like that about it.
My
great
God is the
slides.
Sun's more of a throwback.
Yeah, and I do really enjoy it. I think the production is great. Dave Grohl on the drums, he kills it. So they could easily be swapped, but I would have Sat by the Ocean maybe in my top 3. But the problem was when I first heard the song, I thought he was singing the line, instead of being your one and only, instead I'm the lonely one. I thought that's what he sings, but I thought the lyric should have been, imagine I'd be your one and only instead of the only one.
Instead of your only one.
Instead of your only one, yeah, meaning like he's play on words instead of one and only, I'm the only. Yeah, that's what I thought the lyrics were, and I was like, that is a great take on that line, like really creative. And then when I learned that he was singing lonely, I'm like, okay, yeah, he did it to get the rhyme, but not as creative. So I docked it down.
That was disappointing finding that out.
But okay,
so,
you still got a couple more points here.
Right. So number 7 I won't, because Keep Your Eyes Peeled.
And that's where I had like Clockwork, which is maybe a little low, but
I'm surprised. I thought you really liked that track.
I do, and I think when I first heard the album, the lyrics really spoke to me, and they still do, but it just takes a little long to get into it because the piano is pretty at the beginning, but it's really when the guitar and bass come in and the drums where you're like, okay, this is turning into like a cool song. It's kind of like I compare it to Coldplay's Death and All His Friends song, where it's like first starts with piano and vocals, and then bass and drums kick in, and then it kicks it up one extra step with like the strings, and it gets kind of crazy. But then with the Coldplay song, it ends after that. With this song, it goes back into that piano part and vocals for a little bit, and then back into the drums. So it's like, it's just a little long. Like, I think maybe the composition could have been edited a little differently. And I'm being really nitpicky because I do think it's a fantastic song. But that's my
that
only,
falsetto is a bit much.
Yeah, for that long period of time, I would say.
All right. So number 8, I'm pretty sure I nailed the last 3. If I didn't, then whatever. But it's number 8, Fairweather Friends.
You got it. I wanted to put that higher because over time, I've appreciated that song more and more, lyrically,
agreed,
musically, the harmonies, but I just couldn't put it higher than anything else.
So number 9, something that I have noticed is that you do value catchiness a lot, which I'm also seeing here on this, as we go through this album in particular. Number 9, Smooth Sailing.
Yep.
All right, then let's drive it home. Number 10, Collapsia.
Yep.
which I
And
know you've mentioned you dislike. Well,
no,
not dislike,
I
but
don't dislike
that
it.
was a strong word.
It always was kind of my least favorite, and I do really I like if this album is to the point where I think every song is like great. Like I don't think there's a weak song, and really any of these three albums. But yeah, Collapsia is like there's cool elements to the song, and I definitely groove to it and bang my head when it comes on, like especially the rock parts in the song where it picks up. But it's the song out of these that I would like not go out of my way to listen to, I guess. So I appreciate it, but yeah, it's just doesn't do a whole lot for me. So that's going to take us to 3.5 points for you. So if I do the calculations right, 7, 8, you have 9 points.
But I think I do get docked a point for not having a list prepared.
No, it's okay. I'll forgive you. Last week I didn't even know what the tier lists were for the Billy Joel episode, so it's okay. So you have 9 points, and right now, with the first 2 rounds, I have 3.
Right. Well,
So I need 6
good
points
luck.
to tie, and 7 points for the win. It's possible. There's 10 songs. I can do it, but I don't know.
I feel like you might get the first few wrong.
Okay, great. For number 1 for you, I put You're Missing.
No.
I think you knew that's what I was going to say. I think you this is cheating. I think you cheated.
No. At one point though, maybe. At one point it would at least have been number 2. No, for 1, I put Vampire, and part of the reason I put Vampire is because after all like the listens to this album I've done, that song has not dulled for me.
Well, the fact that you said at one point it would be number 2 means it's not number 2, which sucks because then I could at least get half a point. Because for number 2 for you, I put Vampire.
Oh, no. Number 2, I put If I Had a Tail.
Okay, I have that lower. Okay, I do not think I'm gonna win this game, but okay.
I am curious to see though how much you get right.
Number 3, I put My God Is the Sun.
No. That's where I had placed Keep Your Eyes Peeled.
Okay, well, number 4, I put Keep Your Eyes Peeled. Did you put My God Is the Sun?
That's where I put it. I Peer Missing.
That low? You put I Hear Missing under If I Had a Tail?
Yeah. Okay. In hindsight, maybe it should have been above Keep Your Eyes Peeled. Okay, that was a little bit.
The goal of the game isn't to change our opinions, but I am surprised.
Okay. It's hard writing a list in the moment, but
so
5.
I put Collapsia.
Oh, no, that's pretty early. Okay.
Yeah.
5 was where I put My God Is the Sun. Killer rock song.
Okay, well, I know I can't get 6 right because I put If I Had a Tail.
Okay, and that's where I Sat by the Ocean, which that was a song I wanted to put lower, but it is just a really catchy song.
I did put it lower for you because I Sat by the Ocean as number 7.
Oh, and that's where I had Like Clockwork.
Okay, number 8, I had Fair Weather Friends.
No, that's where I had put Collapsia. And part of why Collapsia is low is because I hate that feedback they did in like the rock chorus. It's just kind of annoying. I know it's supposed to be like, raw, but irks me.
Well, I think I'm walking away with 1 point because I know I'm not getting the next point because I put for 9 for you, I put Like Clockwork.
That's where I had Fair Weather Friends.
Okay, so I got 1 point because for your least favorite, I did put Smooth Sailing.
Yes, it gets old. It's like the One Angry Dwarf. It's like great, but yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was your least favorite. Like I knew, even like on first listen, because I think it's even more so than because If I Had a Tail, I almost think of it as like a dancey song, but I think Smooth Sailing is like supposed to try to be a dancey song, and they leaned really heavily into that when it came to their next album, Villains, which I know you didn't really care for.
Which I listened to it again maybe like a month or so ago, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more. I think I just needed a few listens to digest it.
Yeah, we'll probably save it for another episode, but I have mixed feelings. There's some songs on there that I really really like. I really like the title track, the last song. Um, I probably my favorite is the what is that one called? Not the Eagle has landed. Um, I can't even think of what it's called now. But there's some songs on there I like. I guess not enough for me to remember the names of the songs. But the Evil has landed. Okay, there we go. I was close. I said
Oh, did you
Eagle.
say the Eagle?
Yeah,
The Eagles of death metal has landed.
yeah. Um,
Um,
but yeah, it's there's some songs on there I really like, but then there's a lot of forgettable songs. There's a lot of forgettable songs.
right. I feel it's kind
I
of like
don't
an
think
album you
there's
listen to and enjoy, but not one that you like pull apart the songs.
if I remember, there's not like really one on there that I dislike. So I actually probably like it, and I know this is gonna like some Queens of the Stone Age fans. I'll trigger them, but I probably still like it more than like their self-titled or I don't know. I'm under the impression that Songs for the Deaf is like a little overrated, but
Okay, I am
um,
now triggered.
but we'll say that for another episode. But okay, so final scores here, tally it up. I ended up with 1, 2, 4 points over 3 albums. That's really sad. And you got 9 points. You killed it. I mean, you got the same points for Ben Folds and for Queens of the Stone Age. You got 3.5 for both, and you got 2 on Pearl Jam. So
And
we were
I'm a
pretty
bit
consistent.
surprised. I'm surprised with nailing the Ben Folds like that.
Well, for both this album, for the Ben Folds and for the Queens of the Stone Age, I think you killed it when it came to the last. You got them in chunks. Like the Ben Folds, you got like the last 3, and that's why you got so many points.
That's true. Knew all
Same
the
for,
clunkers.
I think, same too for like Clockwork. So that's what I was hoping to get like a run of songs, but you surprised me. So I don't know. Well, next
Yeah,
time we'll have to pick some different albums.
yeah. What does this say about us? Are you too predictable? Am I just bad at writing lists? Have we grown?
I think that's the main thing. I think we've grown. Um, I think probably you more than I have. Um, so I would say that I would chalk it up to that we've grown, and I think and that and just I think some of these songs I just did not know your more recent opinions on them. Like I said, I think if we made this list 8 years ago, I probably would have had more right for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. I think
and you
back
took
then you
some
could
risk.
have.
I think you took some risk with yours, and have they paid off with your guesses?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and of course, the Ben Folds one, which I had to write on the spot, was one that I got a decent amount of points on.
Yeah. So next time you'll be disqualified if you show up without your list.
Yeah.
But okay, that'll
All
do
right.
it for
Well,
this
GG,
episode.
good game.
Good game. We'll be doing some other game episodes in the future. We got some other ideas. And next 2 episodes are going to be our album for album episodes, album recommendations. I gave Tony Radioheads and Rainbows. And what'd you give me?
Morrison Hotel by the
Um,
Doors.
so there you go. We're going to give those albums a listen over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be back with those. So give them a listen if you want to participate in the episodes. And until then, take care. We'll see you later. Bye.